I've never heard someone call it a schizophrenic attack. Literally ever. And I've been in 3 fucking mental hospitals. And I've never heard anybody call it a schizophrenic attack. Like, what the fuck is that? And of course, if you're gonna get high off of shrooms, then obviously you're gonna have there's a possibility of having a bad time. So as many of you know, I created a video recently on Gothgrandpa666 whole TikTok meltdown. And I found it really interesting because not only do I have a schizophrenic, psychotic disorder on the schizophrenia spectrum, but I also have a herniated disc, which affects the way that I can walk and the way my nerves connect. And I literally feel pain if I sit for too long or stand for too long. Okay, and you're not gonna see me whining and complaining, oh, I have schizophrenia, oh, I'm disabled. You're not gonna see me do that. You know, you're gonna see me walking my dog for an hour and a half every single day. You're gonna see me going out and being in triggering situations where people are ignorant and talk about things they don't understand. I'm willing to put myself out into those kinds of situations because I have tough ass skin. I'm no stranger to physical pain. I endure it a lot. I'm gonna be getting surgery in a couple years when my insurance can finally kick in. And when it comes to my psychotic disorder, I don't come on YouTube and talk about my psychotic disorder for attention or for anything like that. It's more for education, telling people what it's like from a personal, subjective point of view. And Gothgrandpa666 kind of does the exact opposite from me. So I did make a video on him earlier, or I'm not sure. I don't really know how the whole pronoun things works. Some recent things have come up about this person that I think are very interesting and need to be talked about. So we're gonna start off with something interesting. He got high off of his own shrooms, and that caused the schizophrenic disorder. Now, you don't necessarily have schizophrenia if you have a bad trip, but there are medical conditions that can lead to a form of psychosis. And psychosis is one of the main aspects of schizophrenia. Psychosis is a break from reality where you believe things, or you see things, hear things, taste things, smell things, or feel things that aren't actually there. It's external stimuli that isn't actually there. His hallucinations, those being hallucinations, and also, like I said earlier, beliefs that are not based in reality, which are delusions. Psychosis is an aspect of schizophrenia. It is not equal. Psychosis doesn't entail schizophrenia. Psychosis can be caused by a whole slew of things. Some people with bipolar have psychosis. Some people with depression, very, very bad major depression, go through psychosis. Some people, like I'm assuming Gothgrandpa did, goes through psychosis because they got high off of a hallucinogen and they have a genetic disposition to having psychosis. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, he likes to talk about how they're gonna have a schizophrenic attack because they're put in a stressful situation. That is interesting because the whole idea of schizophrenia is a lot of the time you don't feel it coming on. You're not able to sit there and be able to process. You're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna start hearing voices telling me to kill myself. It's more of it happens out of your control, and it's not a sinking feeling that you feel in your gut. At least it isn't for me. You know, when I go outside and I see black mannequins walking around, I don't automatically think, oh, schizophrenic attack. This is a schizophrenic attack, because the term schizophrenic attack isn't even used in the world of schizophrenia. It's psychotic break. It's detachment from reality. It's not. I've never heard someone call it a schizophrenic attack, literally ever. And I've been in 3 fucking mental hospitals, and I've never heard anybody call it a schizophrenic attack. Like, what the fuck is that? And of course, if you're gonna get high off of shrooms, then obviously you're gonna have there's a possibility of having a bad time. And for fuck's sake, if you're able to do all of this and you're still complaining that you have to pay rent, then what the fuck are you doing with your money? Why the fuck are you even bothering to think about taking shrooms when you obviously know that you're not doing fine up here? You know, I would know about being not fine up here because I was in a fucking mental hospital for 3 months. But yeah. She also talks about how she's disabled, and that's a different one for me. I'm not disabled, you know. I'm pretty able-bodied, but I do have pains and aches in my body, which a lot of people do. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm disabled, because obviously I'm not. I have a herniated disc, but that doesn't mean jack shit. The MRI can show me that one of my discs, or two of my discs, one got surgery and the other is still there. But the MRI shows that, yeah, something's wrong happening in my spine. And you know what? You're still gonna see me walking my dog for an hour in the morning, walking my dog for an hour and a half during the midday, and then going and working out for 2 hours, and then doing a bunch of cardio for another 30 minutes. You're still gonna see me do that. Even though I have a herniated disc, which causes a lot of pain. I wouldn't be able to do all of that if I were a weak-willed person. And trust me, I feel like I am a weak-willed person. But when I see Gothgrandpa666 talking about this shit, it's like, how much weaker can you be? I mean, I feel like I'm incredibly weak, and then look at this person. I do realize that I'm getting a bit emotional here, and that's not exactly something that I support, because I feel like we shouldn't completely act upon pure emotion. We should act upon a balance in our mind. You know, in dialectical behavioral therapy, there's an idea called interpersonal connectedness, and there's also distress tolerance, and those two topics merge to form a state of mind known as the wise mind, where you take emotions and logic and you put them together, sort of like Venn diagram style, or not Venn diagram style. I think Venn diagram style, but it's like the circles that go together. You need to be able to find a balance, and I realize that I'm not showing that balance right now, and I apologize for that. But I get a little heated when people start acting dumb, when you're being a little goose. If you're gonna act like a silly goose, get in the pond. But yeah, I find it interesting that this person has the gall to film themselves and put it online of them having a literal breakdown and expect that everybody is gonna support them. It's a weird way to say it. You see, I'm the kind of person who posts, I had multiple psychotic breaks that I filmed and put online. But in each of those events, I cover my face. Some of them I even change my voice. I don't do it for attention. I don't do it so that people look at me and be like, oh, boo, so sad. I do it because I want to educate people what it's like. I'm not going to go on the internet and be like, oh, boo, I'm having a schizophrenic attack. It's like, no, I'm having a psychotic break. I'm not having a good time, but this is what people need to learn. This is the world of mental illness, a side of mental illness that people need to learn about that isn't talked about. But yeah, that was a video. Getting back to the whole disabled thing, I have a herniated disc. I used to have two, but one got worked on, and I'm still moving. I'm still doing what I can. And when I look at this person's Gothgrandpa's TikToks, it's like, oh, they're disabled, but they're dancing and walking, and they're wearing these giant boots. Pretty sure they're steel-tip boots, and it's like, what? What the fuck? I thought you were disabled. What the fuck are you doing? I don't think I'm disabled, and even walking is hard for me. So how the fuck is somebody who apparently is disabled able to walk? And that being said, this fucking person said that they were self-diagnosed. So they're not actually disabled. They're not actually schizophrenic. They're just self-diagnosed. I was in a fucking mental hospital to show that it took being in a fucking mental hospital to finally understand that I have a psychotic disorder. And even though I may disagree with these two next things, apparently I have OCD and GAD, which I don't think I do, but the doctors seem to think I do. It's not fun. It's not something to be romanticized or glorified. It's not a fun, quirky trait. And it's not an excuse to act like a shitty human being. Thank you for watching.